Hello friends. So this is a series of videos in which we are discussing multiple choice questions of Indian polity. This is the sixth video in that series. And if you haven't watched the previous videos, kindly do check out those videos on the channel. So in the previous video, we had discussed the amendments to the constitution and I had asked you to search that why there was no constitutional amendment for abrogation of Article 370 that granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir. The reason for that is that not all changes to the constitution require an amendment. There are certain changes which can be effected even by issuing an executive notification by the President of India. So since the initial changes in Article 370 were made by government notification by issuing an executive order, therefore when those changes had to be reversed, they were also done by a executive order. That's why no constitutional amendment was required. So let us start this video. So try to pause after every question and try to attempt the question yourself. And also yesterday's video was highly factual in nature. Contrary to that, this video is highly analytical in nature. So most of the questions in this video are highly analytical in nature and less of a factual in nature. So let us start. First question is, which of the following features of the Constitution of India shows its unitary bias? The options are A. Rigidity of the Constitution, B. All India services, C. Division of powers, or D. Independent judiciary. The correct option is B. All India services. See, all other three features are federal in nature. Now, what is difference between federal and unitary? Federal means where center and states have almost equal powers, whereas unitary bias means that the union government is more powerful. So here, this one feature shows that union government is more powerful. Why? Because all India services, that is the Indian Administrative Service, the Indian Police Service, and the Indian Forest Service. These three services are all India services which are recruited by the center by way of Union Public Service Commission, but they serve the states. Therefore, the center has an upper hand as far as all India services is concerned. So this shows the unitary bias of all India services. Whereas all other three features, that is rigidity of the constitution. Rigidity means that the constitution cannot be easily amended. That's why the center cannot just amend the constitution and make the states powerless. So it's a federal feature. Second, division of powers. So the powers are divided among center and states. This again is a federal feature. And finally, an independent judiciary is necessary so that in case the center wants to assert itself, the states can go to the judiciary to remedy the problem. Therefore, this is the only provision that is unitary in nature. Second, the Constitution of India is one of the lengthiest written constitutions of the world. Which among the following is not likely to be a reason for that? Options are A. Usage of legal terms and jargons, B. Single constitution for center and states, C. To accommodate vast diversity of India, and D. Long time taken to write the constitution. The correct option is D. Long term taken to write the constitution. So this is not actually the reason for lengthiest constitution. Since the constitution is lengthy, that is why it took a long time to write. So it is the other way around actually. All other three reasons are correct. So there is a lot of legal terms and jargons used in the constitution like prorogation and summoning and all other legal vocabulary is used. There are two reasons for that. First is that it is a law. So a law is supposed to have that type of language so that it cannot be interpreted in more than one ways, which is easier for the courts to interpret. Secondly, because the Constituent Assembly had a lot of persons from legal background. Second, the single constitution for center and states. This is true. In India, there is only one constitution which both center and states follow. As opposed to this, in United States of America, every state has its own constitution. That's why the Constitution of the Union is very short. Third, to accommodate vast diversity of India. So vast diversity includes language, religion, customs, castes, etc. So there are various provisions under various parts for that. That is why it increases the length of the constitution. Third question, which of the following descriptions justify the true nature of the Constitution of India? Options: A. Federal, B. Unitary, C. Quasi-federal, or D. None of the above. The correct option is C. Quasi-federal. So Indian Constitution has both federal as well as unitary features. That is why it is known as quasi-federal constitution. But it is a bit tinged towards the union. So a quasi-federal constitution with a bit of unitary bias, we can say. So it is a quasi-federal constitution and not a truly federal constitution. Fourth, bicameralism is a significant feature of the Constitution of India. What does it signify? So the question is simply asking for the meaning of bicameralism. The options are A. Two levels of government, center and states. B. Two types of executives, real and nominal. C. Two houses of parliament, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Or D. Two levels of higher judiciary, Supreme Court and High Courts. The correct option is C. Two houses of parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. This is the exact meaning of bicameralism. So bi means two and cameralism means houses. So two houses of parliament is a feature of parliamentary form of government. Now interesting thing is that all the 4 points are actually correct. There is two levels of government in India. If we do not consider local self-government to be the third tier, then there are two types of executives, real and nominal. There is also two levels at the higher judiciary, Supreme Court and High Courts. Beyond that, below that there is subordinate judiciary. So actually all the statements are kind of correct, but they are not the meaning of bicameralism. Bicameralism means two houses of parliament. Fifth question, according to the Constitution of India, India is a union of states. Which of the following statements can be inferred from the same? A. India is a destructible union of indestructible states. B. The states are collectively more powerful than the center. C. States have come together to form the union. Or D. States have no right to secede from the union. Here the correct option is D. The states have no right to secede from the union. So all other three statements are incorrect. So actually the first statement is the other way around. India is actually an indestructible union of destructible states. What it means is that the Indian Union is more powerful than all the states combined. And the reason for that is that the union has actually taken all the states and binded them together to form a union. So this third statement is also wrong. The states have not come together. The union has taken all the states and binded them together to form the union. Sixth, which among the following is not necessarily a feature of a parliamentary form of government? Options are A. Majority party rule, B. Leadership of the Prime Minister or Chief Minister, C. Elected head of state, or D. Collective responsibility of executive to legislature. The correct option is C. Elected head of state. So the question does not ask the feature of Indian parliamentary form of government. It simply asks the feature of any parliamentary form of government. So parliamentary form of government has various variations throughout the world. For example, the same parliamentary form of government can be found in UK and it can be found in India as well. However, there are certain variations when we look at the parliamentary systems of both the countries. No doubt we have adopted the parliamentary system from UK, but we have changed certain things according to Indian circumstances. So although all three other rules apply equally to both these countries, in India we have an elected head of state in the President of India, whereas in UK they have a hereditary head of state, that is the Queen of England. So although both the countries follow the parliamentary form of government, in India the head of the state is elected, whereas in UK the head of the state is hereditary. So it is not necessarily a feature of parliamentary form of government. It can be varied. Seventh, the principle of judicial supremacy in the Constitution of India owes its origin to which country? Options: A. Britain, B. Canada, C. the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics or USSR, or D, the United States of America or USA? The correct option is D, USA. So this is a fairly straightforward question. 8th question, which of the following can be termed as the most striking or remarkable feature of the Constitution of India? Options are A, emergency provisions, B, single citizenship, C, local self-government, or D, universal adult franchise. The correct option is D, universal adult franchise. So although all the 4 features are important features of the Constitution, the reason why this particular feature is the most remarkable feature is because each and everything else, be it the government at all the 3 levels, be it the fundamental rights or anything, they emerge from this very right. Universal adult franchise means the right of every adult, that is above the age of 18 years, to vote. So this is the right of every adult citizen of India to vote, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, race, sex, or place of birth. That is why it is the most remarkable feature. 9th, the Constitution of India is a synthesis of, options are A, presidential and parliamentary systems of government, B, parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy, C, both A and B, or D, none of the above. The correct answer is B, parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. So first statement is wrong because India does not have a presidential system of government and it does not have any feature of the presidential form of government. It is a parliamentary system only. The second statement is correct because the parliamentary sovereignty in India has been borrowed from the United Kingdom and the judicial supremacy has been borrowed from the United States of America, and it is a synthesis or a combination of both of these. 10th and last question is, the statement Constitution of India is a blend of rigidity and flexibility. What does it mean? Options: A, some provisions are easy and some difficult to amend. B, majority of provisions are difficult to amend. C, majority of provisions can be easily amended. Or D, none of the above. The correct option is A. So some provisions of the Constitution can be easily amended, while some can be amended in a difficult manner. For example, some provisions can be amended by a simple majority of parliament, while some provisions can be amended by a special majority of parliament. And then there are another type of provisions that require the special majority of parliament and the consent of more than half the state legislature. That is why it is a combination of both. So based on the score, you can evaluate yourself. Since this was a very analytical video, so even if you fall in this category, you are doing really well. So thank you everyone.